I'm Melissa Chartrand. I'm at the West Barnstable Community Building joined by Kate Whouley, who I've interviewed you before, but as an author, and you have a musician hat on today.
A different hat today.
A different hat today. But I wanted to just point out, this building was West Barnstable Grammar School, and it had burnt down. It's the third on this site to serve as the school in West Barnstable. It had burnt down. It was rebuilt in 1903 for $5,426.
Wow, that was a bargain.
That was a bargain, but it's a great old building with a chalkboard. I want to just play with chalk and erasers after we're done here.
Building. Yes, we're really lucky. This is where we're able to rehearse now.
That's right.
And that's why we're here.
That's why we're here, exactly that. It's a great open space and beautiful light coming in. And let's talk about the Cape Cod Concert Band. And its origins.
Well, it originated, actually we're celebrating our 40th birthday as an ensemble, but our first year as the Cape Cod Concert Band. We're playing it both ways because it was started 40 years ago this coming May by Tony Stevens, who is the retired director of music at the Barnstable High School, was on the conservatory faculty at the time, and he wanted to create what was called a wind ensemble, which is, people always say, what's a concert band, what's a wind ensemble? It basically is similar to a symphonic orchestra without the strings. It doesn't mean we play all classical music. We play a mix of highbrow and lowbrow, pretty middlebrow, but in a good way, and easy, accessible for everybody. So he started a wind ensemble to create a place where adults could play. It requires a certain level of skill to be able to play in the band because we play music that's a little bit more challenging than what you might find in the typical, community bands that don't get as much rehearsal time as we do, or just are a little bit more casual. So he wanted to create this sort of an environment, and so he connected with a conservatory and started what was then called the Cape Cod Conservatory Wind Ensemble. Fast forward about 20 years, he conducted it for a little bit more than 20 years, and we then were lucky enough to have John Hagen join us as the conductor when Tony decided to go pursue other musical pursuits. And so now we work with John Hagen, who's a wonderful conductor who does a lot in the community. He, at different times, has conducted the Barnstable Band, the Harwich Band. He currently conducts the Cape Cod Community Orchestra, which is the ones with the strings. And he's great. He is the former chair of music education at Berklee College of Music, so he comes with us with those credentials as well as a longtime commander and conductor with the Army Band.
Now the band itself is made up of all volunteers?
We are, yeah. Yeah, so there are people in the band who are sometimes paid to play, but when they come to our band, they have to pay to play. We have a small membership fee that we waive if anyone can't afford it, and that's the basis for our funding to get us going. And then we're now out trying to raise funds in the community and get folks to help us out because we do present our concerts at no admission charge. That's been part of our charter pretty much from the beginning, and part that we really wanted to renew recently. And so we welcome donations at our concert. We really welcome donations,
right?
But we want people to feel like they can come and hear a good caliber of music without spending a lot of money. They can just come and hear music. And live music, especially with a big ensemble, we're 45 pieces strong. You don't hear that every day.
No, you really don't. It's spectacular. And you practice here in West Barnstable.
Yes.
Right now your home is at Pope John Paul II High School, which is in Hyannis. And we chatted that for people who've been on the Cape a long time, my kids went through, it was the old 5th grade building.
Yeah.
But it's the school that's behind St. Francis off of South Street and the ball field there too.
Right. It's easy to find because it is right off South Street. If you see that big blue St. Francis sign that you can't miss,
right.
You take a right there and it's straight ahead. We're really thrilled to have that as our venue. Many years ago, when it was the 5th grade school, it was not only our concert venue, but our rehearsal venue, which was lovely because it's such a privilege to be able to play in the same place you're actually going to perform.
Sure.
But we're working with the Pope John Paul. 2 people have been great, and we were really excited to get back in that hall. It's a nice hall. It was built, because it was built originally as Barnstable High, it's a very nice hall. People don't know about it. It has a balcony. It's lovely, nice sound, nice stage. We're thrilled to be there.
And I love that it's, as you say, it's community oriented and everyone volunteers and the concerts are free, because I think that some people don't, or they shy away from this type of music, and this is a wonderful opportunity for them to really embrace it and understand it and not be intimidated by it.
Yeah, our programs are not intimidating. We are very approachable. A typical program will have a couple of light classical pieces that are transcribed for our type of group. So they might have been originally written for orchestra and then transcribed over for winds. So sometimes that's really interesting. We've played a couple times, and we don't repeat our programs at all. We do repeat pieces from time to time, many years apart usually. That's part of our mission too, is so that musicians can learn new music. But we've played, for example, Samuel Barber's Adagio for Strings, which I think is pretty gutsy to do with a wind band, since it was written entirely for strings. It's a very challenging piece, actually, for a wind band, because it has these beautiful, long, lyrical lines that can't be interrupted by the inconvenience of needing to breathe.
that is a key factor.
So we'll usually play a couple of pieces that are classical in nature, light classical. We're not going to hit anybody over the head with a Mahler symphony or anything. And then we often play a Broadway piece. We always play at least a march or two, because a band always sounds good
You have to
playing a
have
march,
that, absolutely.
You know? And then a couple of popular pieces. It's just it's a variation on that theme pretty much each concert. But we do special concerts too. Like in May, we're going to have a really exciting concert. We do this about every 3 years. Our conductor, John P. Hagen, becomes John P. Sousa. John Philip Sousa was the March King. He wrote Stars and Stripes and all the marches that you can think of, Washington Post, Liberty Bell. If you think of it, it was probably a Sousa march. And John actually gets in costume. He has a costume that is an exact replica of the uniform that John Philip Sousa used to conduct in.
Spectacular.
Including the hat, speaking of musical hats. And John even wears the gloves, because Sousa wore gloves. In fact, one of the little known facts is that he got a new pair of gloves for every concert, every performance. John recycles his gloves.
But he definitely channels Sousa.
And he dresses like Sousa, and he conducts. It's a really interesting thing. If you've played for John before as John Hagen, you realize when he gets on that podium and he has that costume on, it's like playing for a guest conductor. Even from rehearsal to concert, it changes. It's very interesting, and it's a lot of fun. We have a narrator. John actually doesn't speak for the entire performance. He just comes in and he channels John Philip Sousa, and we have an announcer who announces what's going on, and it's a lot of fun.
It sounds a lot of fun, and that's the May concert.
That's the May concert.
But even before that, coming up, you have more surprises.
Yeah, we have an exciting one coming on March 30th, and that is our birthday concert. And we're going to wish ourselves happy birthday. That's the part about being 40. So we're going to turn 40 this time. And we had our premiere concert in December, but this time we're having our 40th birthday. So we're
I like the celebration theme. Why not?
That's right.
I hope there's cake.
That's right. We're hoping for cake. We're working on that. We'll be playing a concert that's a mix of pieces like I described earlier, and including a fun piece that we're going to play for ourselves that's called Happy Birthday Around the World. And it's a really funny, it's a medley of the tune Happy Birthday played in all sorts of styles. So you've got Middle Eastern Happy Birthday, you've got Viennese Waltz Happy Birthday, you've got Calypso Happy Birthday, Rock and Roll Happy Birthday. It's all over the map, literally. African style Happy Birthday, and it just goes from one to the next. It's actually a very challenging piece for the band, because you only have about 8 measures to get into a completely different groove, a completely different rhythm, everything, and feel mostly. So that's going to be a fun piece to do. So we're doing that, and also Tony Stevens, who I
special guest,
is going to be our special guest conductor, and he's going to conduct a piece called "The Walking Frog," which is a funny sort of ragtime kind of piece that features the trombone section of the band. And we've got a couple other surprises in there. It should be a great concert.
It should be a great concert. Now let's talk briefly about the members as well. Do you audition to be a part of this group?
Years ago, we did audition. I'm a victim of that era. But we don't audition any longer. We do sometimes say when people ask to join, we just let them know sort of the level of literature that we're playing. And we depend on them to be able to learn the music and play it. We sometimes might ask somebody, one thing I'll say is, you might be asked to play for a section leader just so that we can get a sense of how your sound fits into the band. But generally, we don't audition, and we have an open process. The basis for being in the band, we do make decisions based on balance, because we can't have 27 trumpets and 3 clarinets. We need to make sure that the band will be have a certain level of balance. But we're growing right now. We're really excited. We have 6 new members this year, and the hope is we can grow incrementally.
Sure.
Unfortunately, at some point we won't fit on the Pope John Paul II Church hall there if we don't grow carefully.
And now, what instrument do you play?
I play flute.
Lovely. And have you played the flute a long time?
Yeah, pretty much my life. Yes, of many, many years.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us about it today. And we'll tell our viewers again the concert coming up. The birthday concert is March 30th. And what time is that at?
It's March 30th at 3 p.m. That's a Sunday. All our concerts are on Sunday afternoons. And it'll be at the Pope John Paul II
Excellent.
Auditorium.
And where can our viewers get information?
We have a website, www.capecodconcertband.org, and that's a good place for info.
Excellent. Well, Kate, thanks so much for your time.
Thank
I look
you.
forward to seeing you at the concert.
Great, thank
For
you.
Kate Whouley, on behalf of the Cape Cod Concert Band, I'm Melissa Chartrand, wishing you an artful day.